welcome to part one of our tour of the Classic Malts.
Aye, first we Dram in the Classic Malts series.
Courtesy of Diageo.
Indeed.
Not much we can do about that, really.
No,
It is what it is.
correct.
But we're going to start basically in the order that they're listed on Wikipedia.
Why not?
That's the source. That's basically the modern day Bible, isn't it? It's the source of all truths.
Well, exactly. If it was on Wikipedia, it must be true.
Damn straight. Gospel.
It's the Wikipedia. It's the internet itself.
Fuck, it's the internet. I can't go to bed now. Somebody's wrong on the internet. So we're going to start with Glenkinchie. Did I say that already?
You did say.
I did say that.
We're going to start with Glenkinchie.
Glenkinchie, the 12-year offering.
Now, funnily enough, it is the 12-year offering now, but it was originally their 10-year-old.
Oh, right.
Back in '88 when it
When
first
it
came out.
started, right.
So it was.
It's grown up a bit.
It's
on the verge of puberty.
It was changed to a 12-year-old in 2007. So it's the 12-year-old that we will be sampling, but those those familiar with the 6 Classic Malts tasting set back in the day, it was the 10-year-old.
The UDV version.
I think I've still got a bottle of the 10-year-old sampler from the original set that I was given.
The bottle, or is it full?
Oh, it's nowhere near full now. It was back in 1999 I was given it.
Do you want me to bleep that out?
Well, I look. People would assume that it was given back to me back in 1969 with this mug, but yeah, it was given to me many years ago, and the set that I was given many years ago has the original 10-year-old in it, but a lot of it's evaporated.
I would assume so. They're just those shitty little...
just those little 50ml bottles.
Yeah, they're not cork lids, are they? They're little
screw tops.
Yeah, pathetically sealed screw tops.
Yeah, cheaply sealed.
Yeah, cheaply sealed, I should say. Oh, cheap, pathetic.
I think
that's open to interpretation, really.
I think the Classic Malts these days come in pairs, and it's six pairs. And
I wouldn't be surprised if they're 200 mils.
200ml bottles, they come in pairs.
Well, that's like when that chewing gum... Oh, fuck it, we're not going to sell... We're just going to double the size of the packet because we can make more profit off it.
Yep.
Well, there used to be 7 strips in there. Now there's 14.
There you go.
And, yeah, probably costs you 3 times as much.
Probably. I don't chew a lot of gum.
No, me neither. And they sell those... Like the tubs of them now.
Fucking hell. That's a lot of gum.
It
Shit
is.
yourself.
Yeah, there's a phenylketonurics.
Correct.
Yeah. Biggest word I know.
Really? Mine's... I don't know.
No, I was going to say anti-disestablishmentarianism. That's a pretty big word.
Yeah, right.
So it's, I'm going to say monofluorophosphate, but this isn't about fucking big words. This is about Glenkinchie 12.
I remember a big word that might not even be a real word, but back when I was a kid, uvuloflato fringo rhino uvuloferato septohemiinferior bicontroplasty, which apparently is a nose job.
I was going to say, when you just said rhino and plasty, like rhinos, rhinovirus is like a cold or a blocked nose.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's actually a word or if someone was just yanking my chain.
There was a lot of syllables there that I've fucking never heard before.
Isn't it weird what the juvenile brain retains?
Yeah.
Like I couldn't tell you much about fucking, particle physics, but I can tell you a word fucking... Well, not that I've read a lot about particle physics, but I can't tell you what I had for breakfast 4 days ago. But I can tell you something.
Only because I pretty much have exactly the same thing every day.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But you're right. We're not here to talk about uvuloferato fringo rhino septohemiinferior bicontroplasty. We're here to talk about We're here to talk about Glenkinchie 12-year-old.
The lowland representative of the Classic Malt series. One of only 6 distilleries in the lowland region, located in East Lothian.
The distillery's main claim to fame is one of the 5 original lowland distillers to found Scottish Malt Distillers Limited, later DCL, later UDV, aka Diageo. And it was also one of the very few distilleries to continue production through the Second World War.
Oh, nice. How'd they manage that? Any idea?
Well, Diageo.
Sheer luck? Yeah, dollars. Dollars, that's how they managed it.
I'm not sure how they managed to do it, but...
Slipped old Queenie.
Yeah, it's just...
Couple of 20s.
They
Couple of barrels.
clearly had some kind of exemption, but they managed to, according to what I read.
What's... Complete tangent. Do you have any idea what the Queen Mother's first name was?
Lizzie?
Was she Elizabeth I?
Could be. I'm no royalist.
No. Royalist? Monarchist? Is there a... I don't know. I wouldn't even know what the difference is.
I'm neither of those things.
Founded in 1825, farmers John and George Rate by farmers John... Founded in 1825 by farmers John and George Rate. And whilst there's no direct records, it's likely that Glenkinchie operated under the name Milton Distillery until it was licensed and renamed in 1837. Do you recognise the name Milton?
I do. The reference escapes me, but I don't think they're the same thing.
No, I was going to say, well, it's not to be confused with the Milton Distillery in Speyside. Which became Strathilla. Which is the home of the primary juice that goes into Shiver's Regal blends. However, Glenkinchie is a key ingredient in the arch nemesis Johnny Walker blends. Go back to episode 11, Battle of the Blends, if you want to learn more about that.
Yeah, the majority of its output goes into blends. I think principally Haig's, Dimple, and Dewars, or Dewars, however you
I'd say Dewars, but yeah.
But yeah, and Johnny Walker.
That surprised me. What did you say? Was it only 10% gets...
Yeah, so even today, only 10% of its 1.6 million litres of alcohol per year production is reserved for bottling a single malt.
I don't know if it's snob, purist. I find that incomprehensible. But then I guess the average whiskey drinker probably doesn't drink it neat. And yeah, probably goes for whatever sort of cheap. They're not out there spending sort of, $120 odd on a bottle, like
exactly.
Kind of that's where we sort of start looking.
Especially when you're drinking absurd quantities of it, you're going to want. I mean, most of those blended scotches, like your Teachers and your Dewars and your Haigs. I mean, your Dimple's a little bit more of.
I don't mind.
That stuff's all kind of $30-$40 a bottle,
Dimple 15 once, and I thought it's one of the most acceptable blends I've come across.
Yeah, it's not bad. I've been partial to that in the past, and Shivers as well. But they're still $60-$70 bottles.
Yeah.
But it's funny because up until it became the lowland representative of the Classic Malts in '88, it only went into blends. There was no single malt expression of it. So it caused a bit of controversy at the time.
Okay.
Because a lot of people felt that it was the fact that it was owned by Diageo.
Well, of course.
And the picturesque buildings and farmland setting in close proximity to Edinburgh that got it to be the preferred classic malt, whereas Rosebank, which is now universally acknowledged as a genuinely classic malt, didn't make it in, and then Rosebank was closed down by Diageo, trading under UDV back then, shortly afterwards.
Right.
So, I mean, no matter where you go, no matter what time period, Diageo's always had a little bit of conflict and controversy, mired with it. But yeah, I mean,
if you don't watch yourself, they'll stick their finger in your pie.
But yeah, so that was the first expression of it as a single malt, and that was the 10-year-old.
Okay.
And apparently the 12-year-old's far superior to it.
I imagine that extra 2 years, like I've said so many times, sort of 12 to 15 seems to be where the magic happens.
Agreed.
Well, yeah, Glenkinchie, as we said, key ingredient in Johnny Walker. There's actually a statue of Johnny out the front of the Glenkinchie Visitor Centre.
Really?
And also He's doing his thing, doing his stride. And next to him is a Scottish deerhound, Bruce, who was the distillery mascot and champion pest catcher. Of course, the visitor centre is currently closed due to the current state of affairs.
Fucking COVID.
And also the entrance to the distillery has Johnny Walker's name adorned, not once but twice.
Jesus.
It reads Johnny Walker, and it's their logo. Next line, Glenkinchie, quite large. And then underneath that, the lowland home of Johnny Walker. Just in case you forgot. In 2018, Diageo submitted plans to significantly expand the visitor centre at Glenkinchie, and since all the red brick warehouse buildings have been turned into a multi-level visitor experience. If there's one thing Hursty loves about distilleries,
it's a fucking visitor centre.
I don't understand why a lot of distilleries don't have one.
Well, they probably don't have the money, but I mean, realistically, a distillery centre.
A
visitor centre.
All you need is a room, like a cellar door.
Yeah. Oh dude, you're preaching to the choir. Massive fan of the visitor centre.
Mm-hmm.
You can't visit a distillery and have a visitor experience without a visitor centre. And I want me a visitor experience when I go to visit a distillery because I'm a visitor at that distillery. Give me a fucking experience.
I'd be happy to just be allowed to walk around the grounds to half these places if they had a cellar door.
That's dangerous. If you give them a visitor experience centre, then, you know...
I guess you're corralling folks in a way.
Fucking A, you know? You keep them safe. You show them what you want to see. I mean...
Oh, but you could sort of limit them to the perimeter, I was thinking, like to the outside.
I understand what you're saying, but there is no excuse to not have a visitor centre. A visitor experience centre.
Yeah. But also like the idea of if you're allowed to walk around a distillery, you can have those little plaques that sort of... It's like your self-guided walk. You QR code on your phone, download it, give yourself a little tour.
Which should start and finish at the visitor experience.
It should finish at the cellar door / visitor centre, I think, because you want to convert this into sales. Yeah, that's the
right.
point. That's how Diageo got started, I'm sure.
The visitor experience centre should be where you buy your whiskey. Mm-hmm. So you have to have one. You just have to have one.
Yeah, I really do think that's it. I think we've also said before that people are all about experiences these days.
Exactly. And Glenkinchie have something different to all the other distilleries that belongs in a visitor experience centre, and that is a model of the distillery. A wee model that you can actually, and they take it through when you go visit. They go, this is our model. I think it's made out of marble, but they've got a model, and then
how sick.
Yeah, so they fucking point out.
I love models. Actually, it's one of the
who doesn't fucking love models.
I went to the Yabitsu brewery when I was in Tokyo, and the fucking coolest thing about that place was the scale model of the building.
Yeah. So same thing with...
Not to mention, actually, they also, when you first walked in, it was a purely symmetrical and a true Japanese fashion, like a flawlessly polished copper still. I got a photo of me hugging it, and then as soon as I moved back, some dude, like in the most regal attire I've ever seen with white gloves, came over and polished my handprints. Just didn't bat an eyelid. Like, I guess that's just what he does. That's what that's what he was employed for. But he has nicer clothes than anything I own.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm speaking of stills, I'm pretty sure Glenkinchie had one of the largest stills. Well, I read somewhere, but I think we've read that of several.
So many places seem to claim that.
Yeah, exactly.
Start quantifying this. Maybe you should make some sort of chart.
Yeah, you're right.
Still-offs.
Still-offs, I love it. What are you getting from this?
It's very light.
Super light.
Nice and floral.
Yeah, it's kind of, there's a bit of floral. It's kind of cereally, kind of grassy.
Yeah, yep, I'll give it that. Yes. It has that light Tasmanian floral element to it, which, funnily enough, I've come across something else that has the smell but way stronger. It is the Harpic Citrus Toilet Bowl Freshness.
I don't think either Tasmanian whiskey in general, all Glenkinchie are going to appreciate that analogy.
But it's unfortunate that that's...
So do you reckon it's the citrus or the bleach?
It's more like... No, it doesn't smell like bleach at all.
Yeah.
These,
Because there's no
sorry,
colour in here,
I'm still referring to the toilet fresheners. Or the toilets, those toilet bowl clips. It's more like citrus flowers than it is like fruit.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, okay. I can see the hint of a citrus flower in there. Because this isn't citrusy on the nose at all.
It's quite floral.
But yeah, it could be... It could have that slight tang of a citrus flower as opposed to a sweet flower, you know? But yeah, there's a little... It's gently floral. But it's
This nose is fucking beautifully, actually. This is really nice.
It's nice. It's very gentle.
Yeah, honeyish.
There's a little bit of kind of, as you say, flower as opposed to the fruit itself.
Yeah.
But it's fresh. It's grassy. It's
yes, very much so. Yeah, a little bit of that cereal and grasses. Yeah. Well, it is claimed to be a fantastic introduction to the region. So it's characteristic lightness that lowland whiskies are known for, and in comparison, it offers a refreshing contrast to the heavier, peatier malts of the north.
Not much of a robe on it, but there is one.
It's quite grassy.
It is quite grassy. Not too peppery on that first sip. No, not hugely stingy.
That is very, very smooth.
That is smooth.
That's very nice. I believe this is the first lowland I've ever tried as well.
But she's gentle and smooth. It is
This is super accessible.
Yes, very accessible. It's the polar opposite of an Isla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. Very, very much so.
But it's quite well balanced. There's a reasonable finish on it.
Yeah.
There's a kind of hint of ginger biscuit to it on the palate, and then that kind of, there's a nice
that's where the
lingering
finish...
spice that isn't peppery at all.
Just after the swallow, just before the finish sort of kicks, I get the tingles on the roof of my mouth, but that fades really quickly. Yeah. That's as peppery as it gets.
Yeah.
It's very grassy, very fresh, very light.
Yeah. There's maybe a tiny, kind of spice fruit element, but it's super light. It's the hint of maybe again, citrus flowers as opposed to citrus itself, but there is a kind of a slightly astringent element to it without it being astringent.
Man, I really like this. The creaminess to the finish now, this on the third, fourth sip. It's got a big mouthfeel. Feels, like a big creamy puff in my mouth.
Yeah,
so this is beautiful.
Creamy's a good call, actually. There is a creamy mouthfeel to it, and kind of light, like a whipped vanilla.
Yeah.
Kind of, again, just a hint.
Like that dairy whip. Did you ever just grab one of them?
Like the most lightly vanilla hinted cream.
Did you ever grab one of those dairy whip cans and just fucking pour it straight in your mouth?
Who didn't?
Yeah. I remember my mum used to catch us doing that. She'd fucking crack the shits big time.
Well, because it just disintegrated into air on your tongue because there was very little content to it. But you'd be able to fill your whole mouth and it'd just go...
God, I love that shit so much. Actually, you know what? Next time I'm at the supermarket, I think I'm going to have to buy myself a can of dairy.
Nice. Go all Glenkinchie on it.
One thing somebody left after a party at my place, some whipped cream flavoured vodka. So, you want to know what I did with that vodka? Made a Milo and poured 2 shots. It was a fucking big Milo. Made a Milo and poured 2 shots of this dairy whipped vodka into the Milo.
What it tastes like?
Excellent decision.
Yeah, nice.
Excellent decision.
You can do some pretty fucking awesome things with vodka. I've had Mars bar vodka where someone legitimately just got a bottle of Absolute vodka, cut up a shitload of Mars bars, whacked them in the bottle, left it for fucking, I don't know, 6 or 8 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And then
Okay.
then poured me a vodka that tasted like fucking Mars bars. Yeah. I shit you not.
That's what vodka is, like the chicken of liquors, where it just adopts whatever flavour you put with it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So chicken is probably one of the most tasteless meats out there.
And yet things taste like chicken.
Yep.
You know why crocodile tastes like chicken? Because that's what they eat. Farmed crocodile is fed chicken.
That's a fucking great point. Yeah. That's why, yeah, grain-fed, like chickens, their flesh is yellow.
You know what doesn't taste like chicken? Anything chicken flavoured.
Actually, my wife cottoned on to the fact that it just tastes like rosemary and salt. Chicken flavoured stuff is basically rosemary and salt.
Yeah, it's fucking anything, chicken drumsticks do not taste like chicken. They'll fucking...
like those shapes, the Dixie drumsticks.
The Dixie drumsticks, they do not taste like chicken.
No,
chicken chips, they don't taste like chicken.
Rosemary
they taste
salt.
Like chips with like some kind of fucking
chicken
salt. Tastes
salt.
nothing like chicken.
Some chicken salt is actually made out of chicken.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. But it tastes nothing.
But then
like
it
chicken.
just tastes like whatever the chicken ate, I suppose.
I fucking like this.
I wonder if we'd taste like whiskey if we were eating.
Oh, Jesus, I wouldn't want to know what I fucking tasted like, man. I would taste like many bad things. I eat and drink bad things.
Mm.
Yeah, people look at me and go, you must be reasonably healthy. And I go, fuck, you got
That's a funny assumption.
idea.
Yeah,
hey.
it's a funny assumption.
No idea. Like, I just have a very fast metabolism.
Yeah, people
I'm
assume
able
the
to
same
metabolize.
thing out of me at work just because, I ride my bike to work. I ride my bike to work because public transport is basically non-existent at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
They assume that I'm fit. I go for a walk because I don't want to hang around meal rooms and listen to miserable cunts on my lunch break. Yeah. So I choose to go for a walk instead and listen to music.
Although
I do eat reasonably well.
I reckon I taste like fast food and drugs.
Fucking, can I have your thigh when you die?
I reckon I taste like fried food.
I definitely would try human meat, actually. If you were offered a human steak, if it was on the menu at a restaurant, would you try it?
I think I'd have ethical qualms.
I'd
be curious.
If it's
farmed
if it was
human
organically
steak.
grown.
I don't know. Most humans would probably fucking taste like chicken.
Apparently we taste like pork. Actually, I have a fucking great story about this. I have an acquaintance that is a firefighter, and one day he got called out to a house fire pretty early in the morning. Actually, not super early, but it was probably around 5 or something, let's say. And once they got the fire out, they went upstairs and discovered the charred remains of a body. And the whole time he was getting pretty hungry. Fuck, I haven't had breakfast. Fighting this fire for 2 hours. Finds the body. His first thoughts, that smells pretty good.
Oh, jeez. I can't argue. I mean, if you eat enough pig product, you're gonna smell like bacon when you're cooked.
Yeah.
As I said, I'd probably smell and taste like fucking pizza and fried food.
But some people would go for that.
With a tobacco-y kind of.
Oh, not so much anymore. You don't hit the dairies much
that's
anymore.
True. But yeah, I don't think I taste like good things. Not like this whiskey. This whiskey tastes like good things.
Yeah. This is fucking beautiful, man.
Yep.
One thing also that I love that's kind of important to me, I'm a bit of an environmentalist. And a couple of ticks in the boxes for Diageo. The Glenkinchie facility has been designed to operate sustainably by protecting wildlife in the local area, including the installation of beehives, bat houses, bug boxes, and plants that attract the local feeding wildlife.
Good on them.
In fact, they've been certified with the Gold Award for Green Tourism for their commitments to the efforts in sustainability, and that award recognises their operating credentials from zero waste landfill to the sustainability of their distillation process
You beauty.
and the highest standards of water efficiency and stewardship.
Fucking good on them.
So, yeah, little feather in the cap.
Well,
They're doing the best to, like, what would you say, save their reputation in the public eye.
it's smart business.
Yeah,
it really is. Sustainability is smart for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
Too many reasons to go into in a short wee dram, but fuck, be sustainable. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Be smart. But they don't, as we said, only 10% of the 1.6 million litres they produce a year goes into bottling as single malt. So apart from the 10-year-old expression, which was replaced by the much improved 12-year-old, which we're sampling in 2007, official bottlings of Glenkinchie have been limited to a regular distiller's edition, as you mentioned.
Yeah, the Amontillado.
In a previous episode. Sorry, in the introduction episode, that it's Amontillado sherry casks. There's a one-off cask strength 12-year-old for Friends of the Classic Malts, which is probably more genius fucking marketing by.
It's just targeted advertising.
And most distilleries have some form of that these days. Friends of Lefroy, the committee members for Arbeg. Yeah, there's so Friends of the
notice
Classic
how we've
Malts.
just mentioned two Islers.
Yeah. Well, we're both Isla lovers. So Friends of the Classic Malts would be something like that, no doubt. There's a 20-year-old cask strength limited edition for Diageo special releases, which appeared at the same time as the new 12-year-old in 2007. Independent bottlings are rare to non-existent, although a 33-year-old bottling for Dewa Rattray was released in late 2008 to great acclaim.
33, you say?
Yeah. So there's not a lot of expressions for Glenkinchie, so
No, there wasn't.
It doesn't hold a lot of interest for collectors, but there is a rare bottling for John Dewar called Jackson's Row, which is now a valuable collector's item. And that's about all I've got on Glenkinchie.
What about numbers?
I reckon. Look, this is. I don't think anything in the classic malts is going to get huge numbers, because at the end of the day, these are entry level whiskies, right? There's going to be, I'm already predisposed for there being a single exception to that, because, and we'll get to that when we get to it. I'm not going to fucking.
We'll save the best for last. Of course.
Man, but look, this is a solid. It's a solid 8, I reckon.
Okay, to be honest, I'm fucking loving this.
Yeah, I reckon it's a solid 8.
This is one of the few times where I say, like, the absence of peat, it doesn't faze me at all. This is fucking great. And for that reason, 8.6 comes to mind.
Yeah, nice. I mean, it's 12-year-old. It's smooth as silk. It's a really nice expression of what it's meant to be.
This has a place next to the Glen Scotia 15 and the Tobermory 12.
Yeah, look, it lacks a little bit of the depth that those whiskies have.
But I just think in accessibility, when you find someone that says...
It's accessible as fuck.
That says, I'm not much of a fan of whiskey. Like, I tried Johnny Walker once and I fucking didn't like it. Okay, mate. Like, come this way. Step into my parlour.
It makes me wish that they hadn't closed down Rosebank, because I wonder what that would have been like as a genuinely classic malt. But it makes you want to try other lowlands, because the style is lovely. Mm-hmm. What's the Rev got to say?
I don't know if it gets a look in, to be honest. No, it does. The last Kinchie 12 I encountered was beyond woeful. This is anything but. Still not firing on all cylinders and can definitely do better. But there's fabulous vibrancy to this, which nearly all the bottlings I've tasted in the last few years have sadly lacked. Impressive. 85.
Nice. On point with you. I was a little under. I reckon I'd probably give it an 8-1.
Actually, there was one last thing that I wanted to say that I really enjoyed reading about Glenkinchie is that the distillery workers fashioned what they call dogs in inverted commas. They were made from copper and they were designed to be sunk into the cask when no one was looking, siphon off some of the spirit, and then be hidden away down the trouser leg.
Brilliant. We'll see if we can find a picture of one of these dogs.
I would love to find out.
And link to the website, to the show notes.
I imagine there was something like, you've seen the big,
like
droppers that you want to suck out a sample from the cask. I wonder if there's something like that in a way.
That'll be interesting to see. Well, my recommendation is get yourself a bottle of Glenkinchie 12.
Yeah, this is lovely. This is fucking delightful.
You won't go wrong. If you haven't tried it, you should.
This is probably one of the few episodes where I swore more than you did too.
There you go. I'm off my game. So get yourself a bottle, stick it on your shelf, pour it for other people, and for now, enjoy it, just as we have done. And we will see you for the next entry, the next step of our journey through the Dram Classic Malts series.
So again, you can find the show notes, our links to social media, and you can drop a comment at livingthedram.com.au. Slancha, good people.
Slancha.